There we go. Welcome into whatever we're calling this show nowadays. Anyway, we're going to hit on some big topics in the world of MMA. Of course, the Rajah Jackson fallout, Rampage Jackson defending him. Everybody seems to be defending this kid. Is it excusable? That's going to be the question. We're going to go over that right now today for you. Also, going to touch on Dana White Contender Series week number 3. I don't have a lot of time to cover and do my research on these guys like I should be doing. However, you guys in the comments should be able to help me out with that as we go along. And then, of course, we've got more news, rumored title fights, and crazy, crazy stuff going on. Rankings updates. Are the rankings even worth paying attention to anymore? We're going to look at them just because they're part of the sport and because they're part of how the UFC views their fighters on a very clear basis. But they don't seem to make much sense on a week-to-week basis. Anyway, let's get right into it. Dana White's Contender Series week number 3. We've got 5 big fights coming up tonight, and they are filled with all-action fighters. Now, these are going to be a lot of fighters, in my opinion, who do not fit the bill in terms of what we're looking for or in terms of a prospect. However, there are going to be some exciting fights on the Tuesday night. And listen, at the end of the day, that's kind of what I'm looking for, and that's kind of, in a way, all I care about, because 9 times out of 10, these guys do not go on to be much in their UFC careers, right? Now, it's good for them to make it into the UFC, but it turns out not a lot of them actually make it to the rank, make it up to the top. Now, there's been a couple notable names: Sean O'Malley, Jamal Hill, to say and to mention just 2 big ones coming out on top of the champion. But we keep moving along. We'll take a look and move right on over to Tapology. We're just going to look at their rankings and kind of what their finished style is, what they're kind of built on. Are these late notice fights? There's a couple of them. Trent Miller comes to mind. He's taking this one on short notice for sure. But we've got a wide range of talented fighters coming up for rankings here this time. What I'm looking at, number 1, Dante Johnson stands out in my mind. This guy, 5-0, all 5 fights, I believe, and we'll get down to it in just a second. Let me scroll down. Don't want to make anybody too dizzy. I believe all 5 of these fights, if not all 5, 4 of them, looks like 4 of his professional fights have all taken place in 2025. This guy's staying active. Look at this. Okay, so he's fighting tonight, August 26th, right? 2025. Last fought James Ford, good prospect on the come up over in Fury Challenger Series, July 27th. That was just a month ago. And then before that, June, Ryan Parker. Then April, Jordan Seifers, or however you pronounce that. March, less than a month between those fights, Deontre Butts, and then August 17th of last year against Gabriel Sayag. Now, look, Anthony Pettis, North Iowa fights, Fury Challenger Series. He's not fighting the best of the best, but James Ford, I believe this guy's quite a big dude. Yep, 27 years old. I want to see his height. Where's his height? I don't see his height listed here, but he's a light heavyweight. Anyway, the thing is with this one, very interesting. Dante Johnson, of course, this is going to be at heavyweight. Like I said, late notice fight, kind of just put together last minute, scrambling around, trying to find a 5th fight for the UFC. Dana White Contender Series here. 26 years old, young guy, 6'4". Hey, man, what's up? What's up? Musharraf. I don't know how to pronounce your name, my friend, but welcome in. Happy to have you here. You looking forward to Contender Series? What do you want to talk about, man? Just throw it in the comments down below. We'll hit it and do things real quickly here. Anyway, had a couple of amateur bouts as well. 1 loss, but he has gone to decision. So you look at his resume and you go, okay, round one on his professional career. But it looks like, in terms of his amateur career, he has gone to a decision, which is valued in my mind because that proves that you can, potentially weather a storm. You could potentially fight for longer than you need to. You're not just a one-hitter quitter. You're not just a hammer. You can be the nail. You can take some shots in moments, and you can go a full 3 rounds, whether it was 3 minutes, whether it was 5 minutes. I'm not so sure, to be honest with you. And again, if I had more time to break all this down, I totally would. But I'm looking at this guy, played football in college. He's a light heavyweight. He's going to be faster, quicker, maybe even stronger than his opponent with that football background. 26 years old, Darian Abbey. This guy's been around the block, 32 years old, 7-4. Current win streak is 3, but I'm not even sure he won his last fight. Yes, he did. Excuse me. Pardon me. Knockout round 1, rear naked choke round 3. I mean, Alex Nicholson, not the best. Patrick Martin, not the best. Mark Courier, come on, if you know anything about Mark Courier, I've seen him fight maybe one time. Not all that interesting. Tim Johnson, of course, a loss there. Tim Johnson, he's gone on and he's done some things. I mean, this guy hasn't been too active himself. His last fight back in March, let me say that again. Fights in March, fights in February, fights in November. He's staying active, but he's obviously fighting a lower level of competition. He's not on that same kind of like trajectory that Dante Johnson is. This guy is a real heavyweight. He weighed in at 220 pounds. He's not massive, but he's 6'6". It's going to be a big height differential for Dante Johnson to overcome. That's going to be an interesting one to watch out for. And then we've got a 155-pound bout between Christian Perez, who's 13-1, 26 years old. I love to see the young guys getting in here. 26 years old. Now is the time to make your run. Of course, he's coming off of a loss here against John Marquez in Karate Combat, but prior to that was on a 5-fight win streak in MMA. Of course, Samuel Alvarez stands out, Gilbert Ordonez, Bruno Canetti. Who else we got? Caio versus Imavov breakdown. Dude, I haven't even done enough tape study on this one. I lean towards Caio just because of the grappling and that Brendan Allen showed in the Imavov fight. I'm going to lean towards Caio myself. I feel like Caio's stand-up is good enough to keep him safe. But Imavov, he's very clean and crisp. He's very by the numbers, similar to a Sean Strickland. He's pretty defensively safe, and he's pretty offensively, I don't know what the right word is. He's pretty, let me think of the right word here. He's pretty straightforward. He's pretty basic, right? But he's dangerous there. He's so good at the basics that he's able to craft a developed game plan, some straight shots down the middle, and some good hooking shots around the side, which can do some damage. And of course, that Israel Adesanya knockout was pretty impressive. I was not expecting that at all. And he got it done. So who knows? Maybe Caio can be exploited in the stand-up, unlike a dangerous, double threat kind of matchup. Brendan Allen's a little bit more explosive, I think, than Caio Borralho. I lean Caio, but Imavov, I like that matchup. I haven't done anything before, but on my initial lean, Caio, just because of the well-rounded nature of his game. Imavov, no slouch on the ground, though, very defensively solid. Of course, Brendan Allen did not submit him, obviously, in their fight. So, you know what? Maybe he could survive, but I do see Caio as a better grappler. I believe Caio and Brendan faced off in Karate Combat, I believe. The grappling matchup, Caio absolutely dominated there. Maybe he can do even better. Brendan Allen against Imavov. I lean Caio, but obviously Imavov is a better, more powerful striker. Not too much power in his hands, but he can get a knockout. We just saw that against Israel Adesanya. But as is, he's been gone. We'll have to wait and see. Anyway, Musharraf, let me know in the comments what you think of that fight. Break down for me a little bit. Give me a little summary, and I'll read it off here for you because I'm excited to see that fight. Big-time fight in the middleweight division. Is that winner going to get the title shot? That's the question. But we continue on with the Dana White Contender Series breakdown. Of course, Manuel Sosa. This guy last lost to Archie Colgan, if I do recollect. Yep, Archie Colgan. That guy's been on an absolute tear over in the Bellator region, over in the PFL region, whatever you want to call it these days. BST versus Rufy. I don't know. Listen, Benoit Saint-Denis, great fighter, obviously. Really fun to watch. Rufy, though. I mean, you look at that knockout over Bobby Green last time out. How can you pick against a guy who's that crafty, that dangerous? Benoit Saint-Denis, of course, if he can get to the grappling, that's going to be his way to victory. I predict that Benoit can probably take a couple shots. The dude's really tough on the feet. I mean, that Dustin Poirier knockout obviously does not look good. The loss to Moicano doesn't look very good. Benoit will likely dominate on the ground, but we haven't seen Rufy on the ground too much. Of course, we can look back at his record and listen, I don't have enough time to do an extensive tape study. I don't know a lot about these guys prior to them coming into the UFC, prior to them coming into the Dana White Contender Series. I can only do so much. Of course, I'm live streaming here. I don't have a ton of time to do anything other than this. So, Musharraf, you let me know. What do you think of Rufy's ground game? Have you seen anything substantial from him there? Benoit Saint-Denis does have a well-developed ground game, which is pretty dangerous considering, or at least taking into account whether or not his opponent is very good on the ground. Rufy, I just haven't seen enough of him on the ground personally to say that he would be able to put up a fight against a potentially stronger guy in Benoit Saint-Denis. Rufy, of course, long, lanky, and, crafty on the feet, of course. That spinning back, what was that? Spinning wheel kick. Beautiful, beautiful finish. BSD doesn't have a ground game. He does have a ground game. What are you talking about? He has good jiu-jitsu. Of course, not against a Moicano, not against a higher level of caliber opponent, right? But against a Rufi who is untested on the ground, yeah, Moicano beat him on the ground. But listen, this guy has a well-developed ground game. He was mauling Dustin Poirier on the ground. Moicano's just a better jiu-jitsu practitioner. Listen, you can be beaten by a better jiu-jitsu practitioner. You can be out-wrestled by a better wrestler. Brennan Allen, you would say, has a good ground game. And he got dominated by Caio Borralho in Karate Combat a couple months ago. Shit happens, man. Doesn't mean you have a shit ground game. Doesn't mean you have a shit ground game. Anyway, moving on. Back to the fights tonight. Lucas Barrios picked up his win. LFA 205 back in March. Tim Wild's a good win. This guy has a win. Speaking of Rufi. Manuel Sosa. Big win over Mauricio Rufi back in 2019. He hasn't been super active. Mauricio Rufi 12-1, 29 years old. Bobby Green, James Lonsop, Jamie Malarkey. That's his last loss, Manuel Sosa. So look, I rate Manuel Sosa higher just because I've seen him fight more times. He's a more exciting fighter, of course. But listen, you never know. It's Dana White Contender Series. We've got a lot of explosive athletes fighting tonight, so that's, I mean, it is what it is sometimes. Sometimes they're looking for explosive guys. Sometimes they're looking for the good-looking guys that have a following online. I mean, it's frustrating to see because you want to see the young guys who are maybe kind of green in places. A guy like a Mansour Abdul Malik stands out in my mind because, you know, he's very athletic, very dangerous, but has an unrefined MMA game. Sometimes that's what they're looking for. And you know what? Tonight may be an example of that. Let's see. Christian Perez. Back to him, though. 26 years old. Let me see the age on Manuel Sosa. He's 28 years old, so I'm not too upset with this one. Of course, Christian Perez, pretty dynamic. He's a fast starter. Bit of a submission threat as well. He's got some submissions on the record. Yep. 6 wins by submission, 6 by TKO, 3 decisions, 1 loss by decision as well. That Karate Combat win, I mean, it sticks out on Tapology. I mean, we can filter it by MMA, karate, whatever. I'm excited for this one. Gonna be an interesting one. We'll move right ahead. Alec Lorenz, 6-1, 28 years old. This one's taking place at light heavyweight. 2 legitimate light heavyweight fighters. Ryan Parker, Thomas Powell, Ben Parrish. Ben Parrish, good win there. Has a loss to Darian Abbey. Speaking of Darian Abbey, fighting earlier in the evening. Fought in LFA. LFA, highly rated, highly touted in terms of the regional MMA scene. And then this guy, Abdul Rahman Yakayev, 6-0, 24 years old. Lots of wins by finish. Jackie Jean, let's see. Yusupov has a win there. Yusupov's all right, not great. Pauline Bagai, he's fighting over an Aries. Hard to say here. Hard to say what my initial lean would be. My initial lean is likely Alec Lorenz just because I recognize more of his opponents, but some of these guys coming from across the world, you just never know. Hard to say, especially if you're not studying it on a day-to-day basis. It's hard for me to pick that one, but we'll take a look. I mean, I like Alec Lorenz. He's been fun to watch. Shows that he's got some dangerous finishing ability. He can take it late, right? Pulled that one out of his back pocket. Last second finish. That was pretty impressive there. What else do I have to say? I mean, his chin's a little bit suspect here and there. I mean, obviously it's light heavyweight, big puncher. Abdul Rahman, the only fight that I've seen of him, and I don't even remember if it's him, to be honest with you. Forgive me. I feel like he's got some decent power. Obviously, he's got the submissions. He's got the wrestling. He comes from that area of the world. I don't know. Heavy hands and, like, decent grappling. That's kind of what I look at for Abdul Rahman. But he's 24 years old. Even if he takes a loss here, you never know. He could be back. And we keep moving along. Featherweight, 145, of course. Marcio Barbosa, 16-2. He's 27 years old. Lots of wins by knockout. A couple of losses as well mixed in there. Last loss to Gabriel Santos, of course. Gabriel Santos, 28 years old. He's fighting in the UFC. He's beat the legs of Yi Jia, who impressed last weekend. Beat Jack Jenkins. I mean, this guy, that's his last loss. Head kick to ground and pound. I don't remember that one, to be honest with you. Let's see. His last fight, though, 2024. Not been too active over the last course or the last year. So we'll see. Wellington Prado win. Gian Safuri. His other previous loss, Luis Felipe. But again, I like the looks of this one. Fights out a giant team. 27 years old. That's good. I like to see that. 27 years old, of course. I think, listen, Damon Wilson, not the best fighter that they could have found for him, but he's dangerous, okay? He's got heavy hands here. Does Marcio Barbosa. I feel like his cardio's been hit and miss here. Always dangerous in exchanges. He is just so fucking crazy. Just fights like a bat out of hell. Damon Wilson on the other side of things. I feel like he's got good pop in his hands, but he's 32 years old. Of course, I believe he's taking this on short notice. I could be wrong. Let me know. Comment down below if I'm incorrect there. John De Jesus, his last loss. Not beating the best of the best, but coming over from Cage Warriors, He last fought March 14th, 2025. I mean, listen, I feel like he's got good knockout power. He's got some good striking, of course, but I feel like he's got the same kind of problem. Kind of gasses himself out in moments, doesn't have the cardio to go a full 3 rounds, but he's dangerous and he's aggressive and he comes forward, hands low, chin high type of fighter. I mean, that's just what he is, man. And listen, he's super fun to watch. Of course, he's got 2 finishes due to knees. His last 2 times out. He's an exciting fighter through and through. Both these guys. I mean, that's what I'm looking at when I look at this whole card. Like, there's going to be some fucking battles. These are going to be some exciting fights. I will, listen, hold it against me. Maybe I'm jinxing it, but I look at these fights and I go, these are going to be super exciting. I don't know if we're going to see the full gamut of MMA in these fights, if they're all going to be just stand and bang wars, and whoever gets a knockout comes on top. But Damon Wilson, Trent Miller, 2 guys I believe that could be taking this on short notice. I know Trent Miller is 2 guys with heavy hands that are meeting just super aggressive fighters. They could end up walking away with wins here and potential contracts, even though they're substantially older fighters, and I don't think they're really good prospects. They're good fighters. They're fun fighters. But let's be honest, their 2 opponents, Marcio Barbosa and Ryan Gondra, they're way better than them in my opinion. Nothing against them. I just think that they're pretty basic in their MMA games. Ryan Gondra, Marcio Barbosa, very aggressive. Maybe not the most well-rounded talent, of course, but listen, they're good fighters. They're good in the ground. They're good on the feet. They're very aggressive, and sometimes they pay the price. Not too many times, but you could tell in their fights they've taken some shots. Damon Wilson, Trent Miller, 2 guys with heavy hands who could capitalize and get their wins and get themselves into the UFC at 30-something years old and 32 years old. That's not really what I'm looking for, but it is what it is, unfortunately. Anyway, we move on to the main event. Ryan Gondra, I'm looking pretty high on this guy. He's very aggressive. From what I've seen, he's 30 years old. Got some finishes by TKO, KO, got some wins via submission, got a couple of losses, of course, as well. Been fighting in an LFA, of course, as of late. I've been pretty impressed with his last 2 victories. On the flip side, the late notice guy, Trent Miller, coming in. He is, I don't even know his age. It's not even listed here. But Trent Miller, heavy-handed guy. I believe he fights out of, Extreme Couture. He's got some knockouts. He's heavy-handed. But he's got quite a few losses mixed in here over the last 2 years. He's been pretty damn active. Let's take a look. Let's see what he's got going on recently. I don't know. You guys let me know. What do you think? Ryan Gondra, Trent Miller. Trent Miller, to me, hits really, really hard. Pretty damn aggressive. He likes to fight. I mean, as you can see based on his record and his finishing sequences, he does have a decision win on his record. So Split decision, of course. Did he even win that fight? I'm not so sure. If anybody out there knows, let me know. Prove that you're a more hardcore fan than I am, because I'm not the most hardcore of hardcores. Ryan Gondra on the opposite side of things hasn't been too active lately, if I am mistaken. Yep, 2024 was his last victory, but he's on quite a tear over there. That's good for him. I'm excited to see him win. He's also pretty heavy-handed. He's pretty good at wrestling, if I do remember correctly. He does have a couple submissions, so he can prove that maybe the ground game will win out in this one. Anyway, you guys let me know what you think of these fights. I'm picking, here's just my picks, and again, I'm not the most studied. I don't know these guys in and out like most of you guys out there watching this probably do, but I'm looking at Ryan Gondra because of the late notice. I'm looking at Marcio Barboza as well. Damon Wilson, heavy-handed and good in the combination, but he's 32 years old. I don't want to see him win. Of course, Alec Arenz, I'm leaning his way, but Abdul Rahman, I don't know what his level of competition was outside of the UFC. It's hard to judge because he's fighting over in Aries across the sea. But he's 24 years old. He's got the age and the size on Alec Lorenz. Christian Perez, Manuel Sosa. I rate Manuel Sosa highly. His last loss to Archie Kogan, has a win over Mauricio Rufy over in, I believe, I don't remember what promotion, but back in 2019. And then Darian Abbey, of course, journeyman heavyweight fighter. Not the best. Very big, though. Could he get the upset win over Dante Johnson? Dante Johnson, super athlete, fights at light heavyweight. This will be at heavyweight. I pick Dante Johnson in this one. Anyway, you guys let me know your picks on this one. Again, I'm not too studied up on it, but I'll throw out my picks and throw out my leans because of the fact I've seen these guys a couple of times. I haven't gone back and done this tape study like they deserve to have done for them, but we'll keep moving along. Let's jump into the next thing, which is, of course, more Rampage and Rajah Jackson mess highlights. I don't know what you want to call it at this point. Of course, Psycho Stu, Stuart Scott, Stuart Smith, I forget his name. Not Stuart Scott, that's the ESPN guy. But this guy, he's obviously not doing too well. He is awake, he is okay. I haven't seen the latest update on him, whether or not he's responsive, whether or not he's getting back on the mend, what the deal is with that. But Mr. Beast is getting in the mix. Mr. Beast offers to support him if his kid's a fan, which is a little bit weird to say that. If somebody is a fan, I'm going to help you out. I don't know about that, Mr. Beast. That's a little bit odd. I don't know why you'd even say something like that. But we can jump right over and take a listen, take a watch to Rampage and Rajah explaining the situation. Of course, they're still streaming. I'm not sure why this guy isn't in custody. Hasn't been grabbed by the cops yet. I don't know what's going on. Are they pressing charges? Are they not? I mean, what the hell is going on here? This is all so confusing. Again, let me know what you guys think about this. Let's take a listen to what Rajah and Rampage have to say.
Then you ruined
It wasn't my fucking fault.
well,
It wasn't my fault.
then you ruined it.
It wasn't my fucking fault.
Well,
The goddamn cameraman's fault. I know he's watching this shit. If you watching this shit,
Goddamn cameraman's fault. Are you joking right now, brother? Is this guy kidding? I sure hope he's not joking. Good grief. We got to run it back all the way from the beginning. Sorry about that, guys. This is absurd.
then you ruined it.
it wasn't my fucking fault.
Well,
The goddamn cameraman's fault. I know he's watching this shit. If you watching this shit, nigga, how could you? How fucking could you? That's what I expected, though. It's all good. We gonna fucking figure this shit out.
then
You're live streaming. Of course he's going to record it, you fucking idiot. What is wrong with you? Is this all just reviews? Is this all fucking fake? I mean, I don't fucking know, man. What a joke. I don't know whether to take this shit seriously or not. MMA Joey, hilarious what motherfuckers will do for clout off viral incident. At this point, please tell me in what universe do they need witness testimony for an incident that was fully recorded and streamed in 4K. Let's take a look.
But
what the fuck is this? I mean, this is a podcast, scaling up podcast. I mean, this is all just clickbaiting and rage baiting bullshit.
But the most disgusting thing is that people at this school are being encouraged to not cooperate with the police. From what I hear, the police were there investigating the scene shortly after.
So they have real. So this apparently is the wrestling group saying to anyone that was involved. Of course, this is the pink-haired guy who essentially saved that guy's life, getting beat on by Rajah Jackson. Please refrain from engaging in comment sections on social media posts about this tragedy. It will be weaponized in potential criminal and civil cases. Fly low. This is coming directly from the wrestling management. If law enforcement or an attorney for the suspect contacts you in any capacity, let someone here know right away for guidance on how to address them. Golly, man. Providing cover. Very odd here.
Stu was removed, and there has been multiple requests that have gone downstream from upper management to not talk with the police directly if they are contacted, and to only let a certain group of individuals interact.
Okay, I don't know if you guys can see it just because of the resolution, but I'll read it to you. The first text says, "No one needs to be discussing anything. I'll shut this feed down, please. Agreed. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir." So this is a Knox Pro, the wrestling promotion that put on the event, of course, in which Rajah Jackson attacked the dude. Of course, it was pre-scripted that he was going to get involved in some kind of fight, but the extent of it, they went way too far with it. And now the promotion is trying to shut down any comments that any of these guys may make to authorities. Now, of course, they're probably going to try to cover their ass in terms of any liability, but that becomes a little questionable considering how the referee and other guys that were in the ring did not try to drag Rajah Jackson off the guy, even though he was clearly beating on him. Was this intentional? Did they have something against this Stuart Smith guy, the other wrestlers? Of course, there's that video of the other wrestler telling Rajah Jackson to get his payback and hurt him for real, blah, blah, blah. What the hell is going on? Was this an intentional attempt at attacking and hurting the guy? Was this like a group thing? Was this all pre-planned by the entire group? And they were preying on Rajah, who's a dumb young kid who, I mean, listen, being dumb and young doesn't excuse what he did, but did they intentionally prey upon this guy to get him to do something that they didn't want to be held liable for? And now things are coming around and they will now potentially be held liable for it. And this is some highly questionable moves. Of course, they want to make sure that anything anybody says is strict and straightforward. They don't want to get caught up in somebody saying the wrong thing and then that gets misconstrued. I understand, but it just seems really fishy what's going on here from the wrestling promotion side of things all the way to Rampage's side of things, which we'll get into in a second. But here we'll finish out this clip again.
For management to not talk with the police directly if they are contacted, and to only let a certain group of individuals interact with the police. That is extremely dishonest. You guys let your friend almost die, and now you're trying to have people lie for you. But the most...
Now, again, I get what he's saying, having your people lie for you. That's what it looks like. But again, I feel like it's either one of two things. It is they're trying to cover it up, or number two, they're trying to limit any liability that they have because there were mistakes made on the part of the promotion. They're trying to make sure that nobody puts anything out on accident that sounds foolish or stupid or uneducated. They didn't know. They're a little bit ignorant or something. They're just trying to limit what comes out of their guys. Of course, it's crazy. It is the most bizarre situation. One of the weirdest situations. Shout out Chief Nerd here. Rampage Jackson defends his son after seeing what happened before the fight. Let's take a listen to what Rampage has to say. I mean, this just keeps... I feel like you've been caught essentially trying to fucking murder somebody. I mean, it's like, I don't know what you were thinking. I get that maybe they're calling him a stupid kid, but like, you tried to really hurt somebody so badly to the point that you're going to potentially kill them. The dude's choking on his teeth, choking on blood. He's got multiple facial fractures. I mean, what did you think was going to happen when you tee off on a guy 30, 40 times? Rampage, the promotion, Rajah. I mean, they're making this thing look so much worse than it already was. You're caught committing a crime on camera. You recorded this shit, and now everybody's surrounding the thing. Rampage, he's losing a lot of fucking respect in my book. This is a guy that I like, that I look up to, not in the way of like, oh, he's a good guy, but like as a fighter, just, you know, leaves everything out on the table. He's an honest guy. He's a charismatic guy. I like the guy. But fuck this motherfucker for saying shit like this. I mean, this is absolutely inexcusable. You're his father. Kevin Lee, I saw, had a good statement on it. Like, if I'm his dad, I'm turning this motherfucker in. Like, he is not going to be in too much. Like, even if he goes to jail for a couple of years, if that's the limited sentence that they give him, he's a trained fighter. He's going to be okay in there. He's not in too much danger. Of course, you're going to support your family, support your son, but this is fucking beyond me. And Rampage, this just makes this whole thing even worse. Take a listen.
I'm gonna tell y'all what happened. This is what happened, Chad. He went to a pro wrestling event with his coach. Those pro wrestlers, they be just as crazy as MMA guys, right? The pro wrestling guy don't know my son, and he hit him over the head with like a can or a beer can or a bottle or something. And my son didn't know it. It didn't know it was.
Okay, hit him with a beer can unexpectedly. There were cameras all around. Maybe the guy thought it was work. It's clear that he thought it was a work. Of course, they shook hands, made up afterwards. It was all cool, all clear. But if Raja had like retaliated in the moment, punched that guy in the face and gone like, hey, what the fuck? Why you hitting me with a can? Totally understandable there. That's the part that I feel like is somewhat acceptable if he crashed out a little bit. Like, why you hit me with a beer can? But you look at that video of him getting hit in the head with a can, and he just stands there and takes it. Like, clearly the guy winds up and smacks him with a beer can, empty, full of nothing. It was wrestling prop. I mean, dude, literally smashed the can. It was full of nothing. If it was really a dangerous, heavy object, would have had liquid in it. It did not. What else are you supposed to take away from that? He stood there and took it, almost like he knew what was happening. And then they kind of made up, shook hands afterwards. It was all cool, all clear. Still going to get in the ring, drop the guy, maybe beat up on him a little bit in a wrestling way. Fake fight, fake beating up. Brother, he's defending his son. That clip like an hour after it happened. All right, Eddie, I appreciate you being here, but I don't care. I don't care that this is absolutely abhorrent.
Coming. Didn't know. They didn't tell my son. And he hit my son over the head. I guess he thought my son was a pro wrestler or something. And
again, Eddie, I get what you're saying, man. I get what you're saying. I totally understand him retaliating in the moment. If he really didn't know that he was going to get hit in the head with that can, but I mean, you watch the video. It's this slow motion. I'm going to put my hand up and then boom, crack you. There's no way Raja, as a trained fighter, doesn't have that peripheral vision to understand that something's coming his way. He stood there and took it, and he wasn't super furious about it. I mean, they exchanged words, obviously, and then they made up afterwards. So I get it. I get retaliation in that moment. Totally understand that. It's the aftermath, right? It's the premeditated, I know I'm going to get in the ring. I know I'm going to be part of this. I know I'm going to drum up some interest here. I'm streaming. They're trying to get some views as well on their end. It's all potentially a work gone wrong. I don't really care. This is inexcusable, and Rampage shouldn't be out here excusing it. Even if this clip is just an hour after it happened, why the fuck are you streaming? If you get a call that something has gone wrong and your son could potentially be facing criminal charges, could potentially be going into custody, you turn the fucking stream off, you be a man, and you take care of your shit. You take care of your household. Turn the fucking cameras off, you dumbass. And again, I love Rampage, but this is inexcusable. This is embarrassing. This is absolutely foolish by both of these guys. They're grown men, 25, 26 years old, his son. You ain't a kid anymore. You don't get to make these kind of mistakes, man. That is stupid. That is foolish to do what you did. You said everything on camera. You laid everything out on camera. You come out the next day. Eddie, I don't know if you saw this one, my friend, if you're still hanging around. He literally says it's the cameraman's fault for leaving the cameras on. No, it's your fault for doing that. Anybody and their mom could have had their phone pulled out recording the incident, man. You didn't do this in some back alley to get back at a guy for doing some serious damage to your family.
then you ruined it.
It wasn't my fucking fault.
Well,
The goddamn cameraman's fault. I know he's watching this shit. If you watching this shit, nigga.
Are you kidding right now? And again, I look at this. I look at all these streamers and stuff that populates my feed here and there. And I just feel bad for these guys because this is what their life revolves around. And it's kind of fucking embarrassing. I don't know, man. That's just how I look at it. It's a little bit sad. Even on Rampage, even on Raja's side, it's a bit sad to watch this unfold because I'm just not sure if they're. I'm not the smartest fucking guy. I don't even know what my damn IQ is. Could be fucking 10, could be 60. I don't fucking know, man. I really don't. But I have the common sense not to do shit like this and not to keep the cameras rolling unless I'm just purely doing this for views, doing it for clicks, doing it for streams. Eddie, I agree with you 100% on how crazy Raja Jackson were, but for Rampage to be the one to be objective is straight up stupid. Doesn't matter what he does. He should always defend him because of his family. Chief, yep, 60 is retarded. I don't know what my IQ is. I don't think I'm retarded, but maybe I am. Who knows? Eddie, I get what you're saying. Doesn't matter what he does. He should always defend his family because he's family. I get that that's what he is going to do. But again, like you said, to be the objective figurehead here, stupid as shit. I think if you're going to defend your family no matter what, then turn the fucking cameras off. That's what needs to happen right now. If you really feel like your son has a case to be defended, turn the cameras off and get to fucking work, because this is going to be really hard to overcome for Rampage. I feel bad for Rampage. I feel bad that his son did that. Maybe Raja has a 60 IQ. I don't know. Based on the sound of the way he talks, I lean that way. Agree with that 100%. Yes, sir. I agree with you. To me, if I saw this and my kid was doing this, it'd be hard not to defend him, of course. It's hard to sit in Rampage's seat. But again, Raja's a trained fighter. If this is a reduced sentence, a couple years, he'll be okay in prison. I don't want him to go to prison, but that's the kind of shit that motherfucker needs to learn and to grow up, clearly, because I don't know how Raja's been living his life, but clearly a life of privilege. He's been handed a streaming career. He doesn't know how real life works, I'm afraid, because this is not how you act in real life. It's just not. Anyway, Eddie, everybody in the chat, we'll keep rolling along and listen to what Rampage you got to say. I'll back it up a few seconds.
Don't know my son, and he hit him over the head with like a can or beer can or a bottle or something, and my son didn't know it didn't know it was coming. Didn't know. They didn't tell my son, and he hit my son over the head. I guess he thought my son was a pro wrestler or something, and Roger didn't react, but Roger didn't fight though. He didn't do anything, because I told Roger not to get punched, but still hit my son over the head. And then he asked my son, "You ain't gonna sell it?" When you in pro wrestling, when you sell, it's like, because that's fake. MMA, we do real shit. And he said, "You ain't gonna sell it." So when you don't sell it, make the other pro wrestler look bad, like he weak or something. My son, he don't know nothing about that shit. So this motherfucker that hit my son is stupid. So in order for me not to go to fucking jail.
Back the brakes up, Rampage. To call him stupid, it's kind of hard. Again, maybe I don't watch streamers. I don't know who the hell Raja Jackson is. I knew that was Rampage's son. I've seen him around here and there in clips. I don't watch him. I don't pay attention to this streamer bullshit. The Speed and the Kai Sanat, that guy, and who's the other guy? Aiden Ross. I don't pay attention to these guys. I see clips pop up here and there. I don't even know how they get in my feed, to be honest with you. I don't think that other guy who's like 40 years old, retired Army veteran or whatever he is, I don't think that guy's paying attention to these streamers. He sees cameras and he probably looks at that as like, oh, this guy's built like a brick shithouse. Raja Jackson, obviously in good shape, MMA fighter, at least training to be. He probably looks at him and all the cameras around and he goes, oh, is this some like rival promotion? Maybe he's a little stupid, but he's not really stupid. He's not stupid in the way that Rampage is trying to portray him as. He saw cameras and he thinks, oh, okay, rival promotion. They told me about this guy. Some guy's coming. We're going to be working with Raja from a promotional angle. The Knox fighting or Knox wrestling promotion. Hey, we got this guy coming in. We want you guys to work with him, blah, blah, blah. He's not that stupid. They've been told that this guy is coming to the event, Raja. Obviously, he's there early hanging out with the wrestlers. He wouldn't be allowed in if they didn't know about it. So he's not some random guy off the street. They knew about it. Did they know the extent of what he does, where he's at in terms of his career? If he's a fighter, is he a wrestler, is he a streamer, is it all these things? Maybe they didn't know the ins and outs of it. So this guy walks up to him, smashes a empty beer can over his head. He doesn't retaliate. And so he's looking at him like, okay, so you didn't punch me in the face. So it's not like you had no idea what was happening here. but he also didn't sell it, so he didn't really understand what was going on there. And maybe Raja was just not selling it on purpose. Who fucking knows what's going on here? Who knows?
I got to talk to his coach. Yeah, Roger wasn't aware. Roger didn't know what was going on. He just thought he was going.
So how did you show up there? How were you there? You didn't know what it was or what you were doing there. You just walked up on this place, had no idea. You just saw a bunch of big dudes hanging around in weird outfits. You had no idea what was going on. Come on. Don't. He knew something. It's not like his daddy dropped him off and said, okay, go have fun, son. Go have fun, son. He knew what was going on, relatively.
I got to talk to his coach. Yeah, Roger wasn't aware. Roger didn't know what was going on. He just thought he was going and talk.
And let me just say this. I don't know how old you guys out there, if anybody's even fucking watching this shit, but my parents and me as a figurehead of the family, if somebody does something wrong that involves my family, a child, I don't always assume that my kid is 100% in the right. Maybe I should. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe my parents raised me wrong. But if I do something fucking stupid, I get in a fight, and even if I didn't start it, my parents are going to school, and they're pulling up and they're going, what the hell did I do? What did my kid do? What did I do to this other kid? Even if they started it. And it sounds like Rampage is just taking what Raja texted him or what Raja told him over the phone 100% as the truth, and there is nothing of it. Eddie, again, I agree with you. Rampage is going to defend his family. You, as a person, are going to want to defend your family in situations like this. But at the same time, in the back of my head at least, I'm thinking, what the hell did my kid do? What the hell did my kid get into? What did he cause? What kind of issues did he cause? Because I'm responsible as a parent, as a guardian, for what your child is doing in a sense. When they leave the house, whether they're 20 years old, 15 years old, 12 years old, you are responsible for what they do outside the house because you raised them. And I have a concern, at least I do. Where are they going? What are they doing? What trouble they're causing, whether they started it or not. What trouble did they cause? That's my first thought. What the hell did they do? Because that's the person that I have control over. And Rampage to potentially be taking all these texts and things verbatim and trusting it 100% in a situation like this, I get it. You're going to defend your family. Nothing wrong with that. But to not have any kind of second guessing of what's going on here once you hear the news coming out, that's where I get a little bit. That's where my problem comes in with Rampage really here.
Talking to those dudes. That's some fucked up ass shit, man. These motherfuckers playing on, they look, they fuck my son. They playing with my motherfucking DNA. They playing with my motherfucking name. I'm the only motherfucker that can fuck with my son. Nobody else on this fucking planet better fuck with my motherfucking son. Now, he's safe. He told me he's safe. But
I get that. 100%. 100%. But again, it's like, that's your son. You have some kind of control over your son. You have had some control over how you have raised him. Is he crazy? Maybe he is. Maybe Rampage has no control over him. But to trust his word as a kid who's known to crash out and cause problems, you got to have some common sense and realize, like, he clearly wasn't ganged up on by anyone. He's not the one that's hurt. He's not the victim here. He wasn't assaulted and defending himself, and he had to really do some damage to somebody to get out of it. That's not what happened here at all. They shook hands, made up, and then he went in there and did what he did and then was held back. Nobody was wailing on him. Nobody hurt Raja. They were holding him back. And for Rampage to say that's wrong of them to do that, come on, man.
I saw exactly what happened from that clip. That W. Cal Cocktails was sending that clip so fast. Them motherfuckers playing on my motherfucking name. They playing my motherfucking DNA. Man, I will go there and I'll fuck up all them motherfucking pro wrestlers over my motherfucking son. All of them.
And I'm sorry. I'm sorry to do this. I'm sorry to say this. Again, I like Rampage. But that is not how you act as a fucking normal human being. That is not acceptable behavior. My son got in some issue, some scuffle. He tore up some wrestler, and then they removed him from the ring. Sum it up in that short of a sentence. My son attacked somebody. They held him back and threw him out of the event. Now I'm going to go back there and fuck everybody up. You're just doing this for the fucking cameras. You're just doing this for the views. You're just doing this for a stream. And now you're seriously implicating people in this crime. Are you fucking stupid, man? Grow up. Rampage Jackson has never grown up. That's why a lot of people like him. He's very charismatic. He's funny. He's off color, right? He's very brash. He's not PC. People like that. People like that. This is not how normal people talk. This is not how a mature human being talks. They didn't fuck with your son like that. They didn't hurt your son. You don't need to go fuck them up and hurt them because they were playing jokes on your son. Grow up. Seriously. How old is Rampage? 40? Nearing 50? Grow the fuck up. This is embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It's all just playing to the cameras. I know this. But maybe he really thinks this. I don't know. Maybe he really does. This ain't standing on business. This is being stupid.
All of them. My son ain't no motherfucking pro wrestler. He don't know how to sell that shit. He don't know how to do none of that shit. We MMA fighters. We get dirty for real.
Jay Sweezy, what's up, man? What's up? Glad to have you in here. He's going to jail, right? I can't imagine he's not, man. I can't imagine that he is not. It's caught on camera. He's saying, hey, guess what? I'm supposed to get in the ring and I'm going to fuck this guy up, chat. I'm going to fuck this guy up, chat. For real. I cannot imagine. Like, everything's caught on camera. Rampage acting a fool online. Rampage still streaming. Talking to TMZ here. You are not the victim. You are not the concern. Not everything revolves around you. Rampage, Raja, they got the same fucking problem, bro. They got these cameras on them and they just think, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get fucking famous and keep these views going. Here's Rampage.
How you doing, Mr. Jackson? Anything to say about, and you know, first of all, really sorry. We're really sorry about the whole situation.
You know that. I wish I could.
Yeah. I just wanted to see if there was any updates.
All I'm saying is all the racist people give me death threats.
Dude, shut the fuck up, man. Are you really concerned that somebody online is sending you death threats? I've got like 4 people that watch my fucking channel here. I'm just talking. I'm just having fun, man. This is just whatever. I ain't doing this for money. I ain't doing this for fame. I got 4 fucking people that watch this shit, that comment on this shit, man. I've had all kinds of crazy comments. All kinds of crazy shit, man. You think I fucking care? You think it really affects me when I step out of this fucking makeshift studio I got going on here? You think I fucking care, dude? Now, Rampage, public figure. Obviously, people know about him. Potentially know where he lives. Are you fucking serious? Some dumbass 12-year-old commenting some racist shit because it happened to be a white guy versus a black guy? You really think you really have problems with this? You're a grown-ass man. You're not 25 like your son. People are calling him a kid. He's not a fucking kid. It's not an excuse. But 25, you're still young, not even 30 yet. You can be stupid. You can still make some stupid decisions. You Rampage. As a nearly 50-year-old man, if he's not 50 already, you think any of those racist death threats fucking matter? I've had people say awful shit on my comments, bro. You think I fucking care? I literally don't even have enough time to spend deleting those damn comments, man. I don't fucking care. Who the fuck cares, man? Push comes to shove, none of these people that are commenting racist shit to you are going to do anything in real life because they know who you are. They know you're a trained fighter. They're going to fuck you up. I mean, you are going to fuck them up. Excuse me. Sorry. They're not going to fuck you up, dude. They're not going to do shit, man. Who fucking cares? And to then spin it in this racial way. Dude, people are dumb and they're going to comment the dumbest shit, man. You know this. You literally live on the internet for a living now. You stream 24/7. You know this, Rampage. Stop being a fucking idiot. Grow up. God damn, dude.
I just wanted to see if there was any updates.
All I can say is all the racist people give me death threats and stuff like that. Like, I'm a fucking answer. Calling me a bad father. It's uncalled for.
That's uncalled.
It's hard to say otherwise, man. Now, of course, he hasn't been raising his son like the best father. We can say that. We can admit that. I think he can admit that. Maybe his son's just crazy. I don't know. I really don't know. He looks like he may be just crazy. Rampage has a little bit more common sense, but then you go on your stream and you say stuff like, I'm gonna fuck this guy up, blah, blah, blah. You ain't winning any Father of the Year awards, I can tell you that. I can tell you that for damn sure.
For none of this is your fault. It's a you made your explanation.
Anything I say gets twisted anyway.
Yeah.
Telling a camera that because your son got bullied by some wrestlers who aren't going to do shit to a trained professional fighter, that you're going to go in there and fuck him up because that's what I got to do. There ain't no construing, there ain't no misconstruing, no twisting of words there. You've made some poor decisions in your choice of words, man. You've made the decision to say things. They're not taken out of context, man. We just watched a 2.5-minute video. There is no surrounding context that needs to be given for that. You're making a decision to use words in a poor fashion. And people are going to jump on you for that. People are going to jump on you for things that are taken out of context. It's just what the internet is. You live on the internet. You stream 24/7. You're famous. You got millions of followers. You got thousands of fans. People are going to jump on that shit, man. People jump on my ass when I make a video, and then it turns out to be wrong. When I make a wrong pick, when I make a video about somebody, and then they end up getting knocked out. The other day, Loner Kavanaugh. People are going to jump on my case for absolutely nothing. What do you think they're going to do? You're fucking famous, bro. It's part of the territory. It's part of the game, man. Get over yourself, dog. Get over yourself. Cut the cameras off and get to work defending your son if that's what you're going to do.
No, I hear, hey, prayers are with you and your family, man. Seriously.
I ain't got no prayers for him and his family. I wish Rampage the best of luck in trying to defend his son, but there's no prayers going towards Rajah Jackson unless he's got some mental disability. Don't give a shit, man. You don't do that. You don't do that. You don't do that unless that has been done to you or your family members. That was not defense. He was not defending himself for getting hit with an empty beer can. That's just stupid. Walk away. Walk away. Who's going to call you a bitch? Because he's complaining about being called a bitch, being called this, being called that. Brother, I got to tell you, number one, if some 12-year-old calls me a bitch in my comment section, if somebody calls me a bitch right here, you think that really bothers me? I read it. I laugh it off. Maybe I cry about it at night, but I don't really care. Come on now. Come on now. Come on, fellas. You live on the internet. It comes with the territory. Don't even kid yourself anymore. I mean, Sean Strickland, Chael Sonnen. What are we doing, man? What are we doing, man? Kid shouldn't go to jail. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. We'll see. Sean Strickland says jail time wouldn't help Rajah Jackson. Instead, he should pursue rehabilitation. So facing little to no consequences, okay, for that. Not a good look, Sean. I don't like this. Jackson's kid shouldn't go to jail. Prison should always be a last resort. I was arrested at 19 for 2 felony GBIs. I would have spent 5 to 6 years in prison if the DA had its way. After 6 years in a cell, coming out with nothing, being indoctrinated with gangs and violence, I guarantee I would have killed somebody. That's a typo there. There was one guy telling me about how he picked up a murder charge, and I remember being impressed by him. That would have been my future. Instead, I pled and took 100 days jail or 100 work release, a ton of anger management, and a decent amount of victim restitution after a miserable 2 years of court. Luckily, I have a lawyer that took my case for free because I didn't have $1 to my name. Bottom line is that it's not about the person in prison. It's about who they become when they're out of prison. I believe if I wasn't offered that deal, I would be dead today. and more than likely would have resulted in someone else's death as well. 2 cents rehabilitation over prison always. I can see where he's coming from. I'm sure you guys, if you're watching this, can see where he's coming from. But come on. This looks like nothing if not attempted murder. Colby, thanks for joining in. What's up, my man? Appreciate you being here. Sean Strickland is a retard, but I think he's correct here. In general, in this situation, however, I gotta disagree. I don't think it's attempted murder. Then what is it, Colby? What is it, man? Let us know. I'm curious what you think it was. Because I can't see that as a person who's been, now I've never been in some serious street fights. I've been in some scuffles back in my day in school. I don't know, man. What is the constitute there? Right, but what is his intent? What is your intent there? Listen, I'm not a lawyer. I don't fucking know the difference between this shit. But when I see that, and I see a guy teeing off on somebody for seemingly no reason, I look at that and I say, this guy was trying to fucking kill him. Because those guys that were trying, and again, Cole, but you might be right here. You might be right. Technically speaking, I don't fully disagree with what we're going to call this, what we're going to clarify this as, what we're going to label this as. But when I see you teeing off on a guy and people are trying to forcefully stop you, rip you off of them, I'm not thinking about this emotionally, man. Not one bit. When I see somebody, I mean, it sounds like you're just making excuses for him, though. I got to be honest here, Coble. And I don't disagree with you. Assault by means likely to produce great bodily injury. Okay, fine. But what is... I'm reading this. Maybe so. Maybe technically speaking. I understand what you're saying, and legally, yes. Legally, probably yes. He did say on camera that he's going to get in the ring and he's going to wrestle him, but instead that he's going to hurt this guy. I'm going to really hurt this guy. I'm really going to do damage to this guy. Where does that stand? Because I look at this and I see that you're teeing off on a guy for 10, 15 seconds. Guys are trying to rip you off of him. Okay, great bodily injury. Okay, buddy. Okay. But when I look at that, he said that he was going to do great harm to the guy, great bodily injury, if you want to say that. It's very clear. He stated it to the fucking camera. You're caught on camera saying that you're going to go hurt this guy. What the fuck else am I supposed to think, man? And then you go and tee off on a guy and you want to plead, "Oh, I'm just stupid. I'm just a kid. I don't want my name disrespected." Dude, beat up on the guy, hit him with some shots and move on. Show him that you stand on business, man. Go ahead. But you're continually teeing off on the guy. People are actively trying to rip you off of him to save his life, and you're fighting back? If he was just trying to check this guy and make sure he understood where he stood as a man, and he just kind of popped him with a couple of shots, you would have been pushed off and stopped. So you're either an absolute retard or you were really trying to fucking kill this dude. That's what it looks like. You think he got rage baited by his chat? I don't know if he got rage baited or if he was like, "Hey, if I go beat this guy up, give me 100 subs, drop 100 subs, and I'll hurt this guy." low impulse control, which is low IQ trait. Yeah. I'm saying. And yes, I think he's an absolute retard. Again, like you said, legally, it will probably be a GBI, great bodily injury, like you said. He even admitted to it. He said that that's what he's going to do. He probably won't be tried for attempted murder, like you're saying, but that's what it fucking looks like. If you've seen any kind of fight, you hit him, you knock him out, and you walk away. And that's pretty much how a fight fucking ends. At least for what I've seen. In real life, somebody gets really badly fucked up and you walk away after taking 5-10 shots. Nobody's sitting there, at least from what I've seen, in a high school damn fight, in a middle school fight, you ain't teeing off on a guy for 30 seconds. When that dude's out on the floor and the principal comes and pulls you off of him, I'm throwing this back to school because I don't go get in fights every weekend. The principal pulls you off him, the teachers pull you off of him. You ain't fighting the teachers to go finish off a dude who's clearly been knocked out on the floor, bloody and beaten. Raja is trying to fight these guys. He has to get held back by 5 motherfuckers. That's what I look at when I'm like, are you trying to actually kill this guy? What do you think's going to happen? If you break free of all these guys and you keep going back to teeing off on a guy, what do you think's going to happen? So, Coble, I appreciate you coming in here, providing some intelligent conversation here, providing what's really going on, what may actually happen legally. I mean, I don't know if this is even good information. Google AI, a GBI criminal charge or great bodily injury, like Coble said, refers to a significant or substantial physical injury, which we have seen. Dude's got broken teeth. He's got facial fractures. Often a sentencing enhancement in California cases that elevates the severity of a crime rather than a distinct criminal charge itself. Causing a GBI can turn a misdemeanor into a felony, result in longer prison sentence, and strike offenses to a defendant's record, and increases fines depending on the specific offense and jurisdiction. So, what is a GBI? Coble laid it out for us a little bit, but definition: a significant or substantial physical injury, according to California law, does not include emotional or financial harm. Examples: broken bones, gunshot wounds, serious burns, deep cuts, or concussions. Likely cause concussion, literally broke the guy's face. Let's see. How GBI impacts charges. Sentencing enhancement. GBI is most often applied as a sentencing enhancement, which adds penalties to an existing criminal charge. Elevates charges. It can elevate a misdemeanor to a felony. We just read that, such as in the case of assault by means likely to produce great bodily injury. Harsher penalties. A GBI allegation leads to a stronger sentence, increased fine for future harsher charges. Common scenarios for GBI allegations: assault with a deadly weapon. When the assault results in a GBI, domestic violence. Causing a GBI is a common factor in severe domestic violence. Proof of GBI, here we go. Coble again point out a great load of this stuff, and we'll just read it real quick for anybody who's listening. Medical records, documentation of the injury's severity and nature, expert testimony, medical professionals explaining the injury's long-term effects, victim testimony, the victim's own account of their pain, suffering, and the injury's impacts, photo and video, visual evidence from the scene, or medical care. Ooh-wee. Coble, shout out to you. Thank you, my man. Popping in. It's all caught on video. You literally admitted, you literally said you were going to do great bodily harm to this guy. That's bad, brother. Not a good look, man. I don't know how they're going to try to justify this, try to defend this. This is tough, man. This is really tough. Okay. So this clip's gone a bit viral. Rampage called Raja minutes before the incident to call him a bitch for being jumped and hugging a dude with booty shorts. Yeah, man, we got to castrate like 30% of the population. Of course, this is this man's opinion. I can't even tell what emoji that is. It looks like the Spock hand. Let's see what this is. I haven't seen this yet. Let's take a watch.
Hey,
Yo,
did you get jumped by a bunch of dudes in Tyson?
you said what?
you was hugging on a dude in some damn tights.
Man, shut the fuck up.
Man, you shut the fuck up. I look
Biting your fingernails? Yeah, this is a rough one, man.
at your stream, nigga, you were hugging on some dude in some booty shorts.
I wasn't fucking hugging on nobody.
I saw you, nigga. I saw you hugging on your coach.
What is my opinion of Rampage being called a bad father of this case? Now, Kobo, we're watching this clip, and I get that Rampage is joking around. I don't know the extent of how much he was influencing Raja growing up. I don't know what the custody is between him and the mother. I don't know what the deal is exactly. I look at this, and it's hard to say like he's a bad father overall in general, but this situation, this is awful parenting. This is awful parenting. I get making jokes, but when you're not fully involved in your child's life, like it appears that maybe he isn't, and to just be this joking, fun-loving guy, like sometimes you got to be a serious dad. You can't just be this joker, prankster. You're playing into all this camera bullshit, and this is a terrible way to act as a father. You're making fun of him for getting into some kind of incident, and then afterwards you're saying that you're going to go fuck up all these guys that his son hurt somebody, and Rampage is going in saying, well, I'm going to go fuck those guys up. That's not what a dad and a mature, like you said, Kobo, objective figure needs to be doing. You need to go in there and assess the damage, see what your son fucking did, number one. What the fuck kind of damage did he cause? He's fine. He's good. He's out of the situation. He's back home doing whatever. You need to go figure out what the fuck is going on, because your kid is an absolute idiot. I think people are going to call him a bad father. I'll go ahead and say, based on this and based on some of the situations I've seen him get in with with some of his other kids, I don't think he is mature enough and really capable enough to raise good men. I just don't think he is. Does he treat his kids well? Does he give them all that they need? Yeah, sure. But I don't think he's raising them properly. And this clip is further proof of that, in my opinion. Again, he's just joking around, and he's going to get away with stuff because he's just, oh, I'm just joking, I'm just kidding. But it's just a cover for your lack of maturity and your lack of ability to take a situation and treat it as a normal parent should. And I don't know, man. I can't say I disagree with people calling him a bad father. I won't go as far to say that in general, but this situation, you're not being a good dad. You're not being a good caretaker. You're not being a good guardian. The kid's 25 years old, 26 years old. He's still under your tutelage, under your... He's always going to be your son. So you're always going to have to give him that hard lesson. You're always going to have to give him the hard truth. And it just seems like Rampage doesn't do that. He just jokes around and fucks with him because they're on camera all the time.
Hey,
Yo,
did you get jumped by a bunch of dudes in tights?
you said what?
Your stream, you was hugging on a dude in some damn tights.
Man, shut the fuck up.
Man, you shut the fuck up. I looked at your stream, nigga, you were hugging on some dude in some booty shorts.
I wasn't fucking hugging on nobody.
I saw you, nigga. I saw you hugging on your coach.
Sexual fantasy. You need to stop that shit.
No, I don't got no sexual. I'm not around a bunch of dudes with some damn
I'm at a fucking pro wrestling show. Exactly. Watch. My dad can't never call me a bitch. Straight up. How many subs to knock him out? That's a good question. I'm gonna pay crash out. All right, bet. You about to see you about to see how fake of a crash out I am. Now I get a chance to get in the ring and do this and do some shit to him. Exactly. People think this shit's sweet. People think this shit's a fucking game. Straight up, bro.
And there we fucking go. I feel bad for him, man. I feel bad for this kid in a sense. I gotta be honest. I keep saying it. I kind of feel bad for him because this is what has happened to you over the course of your life. You have now turned into this, I'll do anything for views. I'll do anything for subs. I'll do anything to prove myself because my dad thinks I'm this. My dad thinks I'm this. The chat thinks I'm this. That chat don't give a fuck about you, man. They don't give a shit about you, man. You're an absolute buffoon. I mean, what more can I say about this? I don't even want to fucking... Like, it's just embarrassing, dude. This is embarrassing to the fucking human race. Lock this dude up forever. I don't give a shit, man. Really? You don't deserve to be walking around. Normal people, this is how you're going to act. I feel bad for him, man. I really do. That this is what your life has now resulted in. What else we gonna? I mean, like, we're on the topic. I might as well finish it out, close out the show with this.
You know, if this was anybody other than Rampage Jackson's son, I don't think there'd be any empathy here at all. But we all love Rampage, and he's the man, you know. And the fact that he's his son, we're all sitting here like, bro, what the fuck, you know? And what do we think about this? You know, if it was just anybody else in the world, it'd be like, bro, throw that motherfucker, you know, in the cage and throw the key away, man. And that's probably what's going to happen to him. Like, you know, you say they're investigating, like, well, there's not a lot to investigate. Like, there's a video that shows it pretty goddamn clear, you know, what do we need to investigate here? So, you know, what's he going to get? You know, I don't know what like attempted murder is, but I mean, he was fucking knocked out and punching the shit out of him. You know, I don't know how far they go in there or what the details are to get that charge. Aggravated assault's for sure. Battery, you know what I mean? Like, this is a felony for sure, right? I mean, there's I don't think there's any way out of that. So, you know, kind of just is what it is for him now. But like what a shitty move, man. You know, like, you want to fight the guy, fight the guy. Like, dude was like, you know, we watched the video right before the podcast here. And, you know, the dude was like preparing for a pro wrestling style takedown, and motherfucker slammed him on his head. Like,
what do you mean, Cole? What do you mean? If it was just a normal dude and not a child of a celebrity, would be arrested. Maybe a whole other discussion, but why do rich and famous people get more rights and lenience? I mean, I know he was banned by Kick, is the streaming platform. I don't even know what the fuck Kick is, man. Is Kick, who's probably got millions of dollars, are they jumping in here trying to pull some strings? Everybody's saying that, like, oh, you know, I feel bad for him because he's Rampage's son. When I say I feel bad for him, I feel bad for like what has happened to him as a younger person, a Gen Z kind of guy, somebody who's around my age. If it was some random black dude doing the exact same thing to Stu, he would have already been arrested. Yeah, probably. What the fuck? Anybody else? The cops would have pulled up on the scene and gone, where the fuck did he go? Oh, he's walking down the street that way. Yep, see ya, going to grab him. He just gets to walk down the street and walk home, essentially. I mean, what the fuck, man? I mean, you're right, Coble. You're right. It's really, really stupid. It's really stupid. But, Coble, I think you've aired out all your grievances. I agree with you 100%. I think that it's probably, like you said, legally, great bodily injury, GBI. I think you're right for bringing that into this conversation. I wasn't thinking about it that way. I wasn't even talking about it legally yet because I'm waiting to see if they're going to pull this guy into custody. Are they going to arrest this dude? What's going to happen to him? I was just waiting until that to get into the specifics of it, but I'm glad you brought that into the conversation because Matt Brown mentioned it, aggravated assault. I mean, what the fuck? What are we going to classify this as? He's a streamer. He admitted to the entire fucking thing on camera. Like, there's no investigation really needed at all to pull this guy into custody, right? I mean, I don't know. Again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a criminal prosecutor. I don't know what the fuck's going on from a legal standpoint. But that's it. That's going to be all I'm going to talk about it for now. We're going to move on. Coble, throw anything out there if you got anything last second before I jump into the next topic, which is the UFC rankings. UFC rankings update. Of course, it's Tuesday. We got some shifting going on. We got some movement. Aljamain Sterling, of course, Brian Ortega was the last big fight to happen. Of course, in the rankings, of course, there was a light heavyweight match, of course, in the main event, UFC Shanghai. Aljamain Sterling is getting bumped up 2 spots into the 5th position, right behind Lerone Murphy. Of course, surprising that Lerone Murphy He beat Aaron Pico. Guy's outside the rankings, making his debut. Of course, he's not going to get a huge jump, maybe not to the first position, but you'd think, okay, Yair Rodriguez, maybe he'll jump above Yair. Nope, apparently not. Lackluster fight against Patricio Pitbull. You don't jump Lerone Murphy up there. Lerone Murphy, I hope, will be getting the next title shot. If not, better be Mobsar in November. But Mobsar, he's been pretty inactive. He needs to get a fight under his belt. We'll see. But Aljamain Sterling moving into the 5th position. Brian Ortega, inactive. He's lost 4 of his last 5 fights. And this guy is still in the top 10. You got to be kidding me. In front of Yusuf Zalal, Gene Silva, Steve Garcia, Danny Gay, and Giga Chikadze. Maybe he still beats some of those guys. He's only been fighting the best of the best, the top of the division, Brian Ortega is. But come on now. Don't like the look of that. Brian Ortega should not be sitting inside the top 10 if you had it my way. Charles Johnson in the flyweight division. He's breaking into the top 15. He's ranked now 13th. Has jumped over the likes of Bruno Silva, Ramzan Temirov, Loner Kavanagh. He's been bumped out of the rankings. Charles Johnson finally getting his due. Of course, the story was that his bank account was going into the negative and that he got a big win, got a big bonus. Loner Kavanagh finished, but Loner Kavanagh was beating up on him. But I do really like Charles Johnson. Of course, there's always issues personally. The guy's a little bit of a dummy. Maybe he needs some financial advice. Maybe not. We'll see what happens with that. But Charles Johnson breaking into the rankings. Then, of course, we've got some movement in the middleweight division. Israel Adesanya getting bumped down a spot. Rainier DeRito randomly, even though he fought weeks ago, jumps up a spot. That don't really care for that. I don't really care about that one. I'm okay with that one. Don't mind it at all. DeRitter does deserve to be over Israel Adesanya. Anthony Hernandez arguably deserves to be over Izzy right now, too, and Kaio as well. Movement in the light heavyweight division here. Magomed, of course, sitting at the top. Movement down below, though. Johnny Walker bumps up a spot. Zhang Ming Yang only goes down 1. Not out of the rankings yet, but sits now just below Menifield and Krylov. Menifield, I don't know, but that one, Min Young probably could be above Menifield, but it is what it is. Taking a look over at the ladies. No movement there. Not one bit. But the big news, in my opinion, in terms of the rankings, is that Brian Ortega still sits in the top 10. You guys let me know what you think about that. Aljamain, now a top 5 fighter in the featherweight division. Let's take a look, see if there's any kind of breaking news that I have missed since the show has started. I'm not seeing anything immediately. Of course, rumor is Valentina Shevchenko will be taking on Zhang Weili. Of course, she may be vacating the belt, and it'll be Mackenzie Dern versus Verna Jandiroba. I saw that rumor out there. Nothing to that. Don't take my word for it. I don't believe that's true yet. I'll have to see it before I believe it. Yeah, I don't see any news. I don't see anything breaking. I don't see anything crazy. Again, if anybody's out there, drop it in the chat if you've seen something. Here's Dana White speaking on Zhang Weili.
To mention about because Weili fight Valentina Shevchenko is everybody want to see. Even Valentina says Weili is a fighter. Makes sense. So is this fight already made? How big is this fight means to the women MMA?
Yeah, when you think about Valentina and Weili, they're 2 of the best female fighters of all time. So it's a great super fight to make. And obviously, I think Weili wants it, Valentina wants it, we want it. So I don't see why it wouldn't happen.
So not already the contract signed? Because Weili says she already on preparation.
Well, ask Weili then. I don't know what to tell you. If Weili says it is, then it is.
Okay. But Weili's fight is I have to mention about because Weili fight.
All right, so maybe things are turning around. Maybe things are changing in the flyweight divisions and the strawweight divisions. Joel Alvarez has popped back up in the rankings somehow. What else we got? Dogs, DC. Throwback to McGregor, Mayweather, 2017. Good God damn, it's been 8 years. I can't believe it. I'm getting old as shit, man. Getting way too old for this. Anyway, we'll leave it with that. My goodness, 8 damn years, man. 8 years since Maymac. What a time that was. Conor McGregor on top of the world. Now look at him. Mayweather getting his 50th win. Goes on to fight Logan Paul in an exhibition match. I mean, what have we become as a society? Now we've got Gervonta and Jake Paul fighting. Good grief. Anyway, that'll do it for me. Thank you guys for tuning in. Shout out to Coble for bringing us some legal advice, some real, solid, adult comments here. Taking this out of the emotional realm and bringing it into reality. What will happen to Rajah Jackson? We'll just have to keep waiting and keep covering this as things move along. And, of course, rankings updates. We touched on that a bit. Contender series we touched on in the beginning. But that'll do it for me. Let me know in the comments down below if you got anything else to talk about before I jump out of here. But for now, that'll be it. That'll be it for me. That'll be it for you guys. You guys have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of this Tuesday. Enjoy the fights tonight. Dana White Contender Series Week 3. We'll be covering it after the event, breaking down who won, who lost. Do they deserve a contract? Do they not deserve a contract? Hopefully we get some banger fights tonight. I'm excited for it. Looking forward to it. We're just a few hours away. So anyway, you guys enjoy the fights tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for commenting. And I'll see you guys next freaking time. Enjoyed you being here. We'll have a great show tomorrow. Can't wait. We'll see you then.